Okay. Next I see Mr. Hagal of the Egyptian Embassy in Tokyo.
Thank you, Mr. Penn. My name is Hagal. I'm the press counselor of the Embassy of Egypt here. But I'm also, like the panelists, an Egyptian citizen. So I do have an equal stake in the future of my country. And if you allow me just to make a few quick comments in a few brief minutes. Thank you. We are going through a difficult time in Egypt. That is for sure. This is an immense change that we are going through, and hopefully we will recover and be better. But let's examine issues very factually. Change has indeed come. The demonstrators and the protesters have all gone out to the streets. They have made their voice clear, crystal clear, and the government has tried to respond to their legitimate demands. If we look at the facts, the government, the previous government resigned. We have a new prime minister. For the first time in 30 years, President Mubarak has appointed a vice president. President Mubarak, the new vice president, and the new prime minister have all come out saying the same message. We have heard you. We will change the constitution. We will amend the crucial clauses in the constitution to allow for more open presidential elections. We will look at and receive all the appeals from the courts about the previous parliamentary elections. We pledge never to use force against the demonstrators. The army will never be asked to use force to disperse the demonstrators. We want to begin a dialogue with the protesters and with all political parties. And the Vice President was on TV yesterday explaining the nature of this dialogue, which includes all political parties who are willing, and even the Muslim Brotherhood. They have made their own announcements about whether they will or will not join this dialogue. But this dialogue is here to arrange a organized transition of power as the leadership has promised. So the message is clear. The government says, we have heard your message. Thank you. And we salute you, to the protesters. Now, there are a couple of questions that are still perhaps keeping everyone busy trying to figure out what exactly is going on. About violence. Yes, there were deplorable acts of violence, and especially 2 days ago in Tahrir Square, there were very deplorable acts of violence. The Prime Minister himself has apologized to the people in Tahrir Square for the violence perpetrated against them. We don't know yet, he says, who is responsible, but he will launch an inquiry. So that is something that should be taken into account. The last point is about the departure of the president. People do indeed want him to leave now, but others do not want him to leave now. The important point is to have a rational discussion to arrange for an orderly transition of power in a constitutionally acceptable manner. We all need to recover from what has happened. And like I said, Egypt will be a better place when this is over, but the change has already begun, and the change has to be orderly. We all deplore the violence, the chaos, the looting. The economy is in paralysis. So the government is asking everyone to give the course of events its chance and look at the glass not as half empty, but as half full. Thank you very much.
Okay.